Welcome to Infinitia Verity. Picture this, an empire that spanned 3 continents, controlling trade routes, conquering key cities, and building a legacy that still resonates today. From the capture of Constantinople to the height of Suleiman the Magnificent's reign, the Ottoman Empire was a force to be reckoned with. Stay with us as we dive deep into how the Ottomans maintained such a vast empire, how their naval strategies reshaped Mediterranean geopolitics, and how they influenced culture and trade in Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Each segment will reveal at least 2 fascinating facts that highlight the empire's incredible achievements. Let's dive in. Segment 1. The Birth of an Empire. Ottoman Beginnings. The Ottoman Empire's story begins in the late 13th century when a small group of Turkish tribes in Anatolia, led by Osman I, laid the foundations of what would become one of the most powerful empires in world history. They expanded through a combination of military prowess, strategic alliances, and opportunism as they exploited the weaknesses of the Byzantine Empire and neighboring Turkic states. The early Ottomans were skilled at absorbing territories and integrating them into their growing empire, employing a pragmatic mix of diplomacy and warfare. They often allowed local rulers to retain their positions in exchange for loyalty and tribute, which helped them maintain stability in the newly conquered lands. Fact 1. The Ottomans were known for their tolerance toward different religions. While they were an Islamic empire, they allowed Christians and Jews to live within the empire under the millet system, which gave these communities a degree of autonomy as long as they paid taxes and recognized Ottoman authority. Fact 2. One of the key advantages the Ottomans had was their early adoption of gunpowder technology. By the early 14th century, they were using gunpowder weapons, giving them a distinct advantage over their rivals. This played a crucial role in their conquests of fortified cities like Bursa and later Constantinople. Segment 2. Constantinople and the Turning Point in History. Perhaps the most defining moment in the Ottoman Empire's early history was the conquest of Constantinople in 1453. Led by Sultan Mehmed II, also known as Mehmed the Conqueror, the Ottomans seized the city after a 53-day siege, bringing an end to the Byzantine Empire. Constantinople was strategically located between Europe and Asia, making it one of the most important cities in the world at the time. The fall of Constantinople marked the beginning of Ottoman control over the eastern Mediterranean and solidified their reputation as a world power. It also transformed the Ottomans into a multi-continental empire with territory stretching across Europe, Asia, and Africa. Fact 1. Sultan Mehmed II used massive cannons designed by Hungarian engineer Urban to break through Constantinople's seemingly impenetrable Theodosian walls. These cannons were some of the largest ever constructed at the time, with one measuring over 8 meters in length. Fact 2. After the conquest, Mehmed transformed the Hagia Sophia, the greatest Christian cathedral of the Byzantine world, into a mosque. This symbolized the city's new Islamic identity, though Mehmed also welcomed people of all faiths into the city, which contributed to its rapid revival as a bustling, multicultural metropolis. Segment 3. The Rise of the Ottoman Navy and Control of the Mediterranean. While the conquest of Constantinople was crucial for establishing Ottoman dominance on land, their control over the Mediterranean would depend on naval supremacy. In the 16th century, under Suleiman the Magnificent, the Ottomans made significant investments in their navy, enabling them to challenge European powers for control of vital sea routes. One of the key figures in the rise of the Ottoman navy was Hayreddin Barbarossa, a legendary admiral who led the Ottoman fleet to numerous victories against European navies. Under his command, the Ottomans controlled much of the Mediterranean Sea, securing trade routes and launching raids on European coastal cities. Fact 1. The Battle of Preveza in 1538 was a major naval victory for the Ottomans. Led by Barbarossa, the Ottoman fleet decisively defeated a coalition of European powers, including Venice, Spain, and the Papal States. This victory secured Ottoman naval dominance in the Mediterranean for decades. Fact 2. To further cement their control, the Ottomans established a series of fortresses and naval bases along the Mediterranean coast, including in cities like Algiers, Tunis, and Tripoli. These bases not only protected Ottoman interests but also allowed them to project power across the region. The Ottomans' control of the Mediterranean wasn't just about military power, it was also about controlling the flow of goods and wealth. The empire's strategic position allowed it to dominate trade routes between Europe and Asia, giving it access to valuable commodities such as spices, silk, and precious metals. The Ottomans were highly skilled in economic management and taxation. They imposed tariffs on goods passing through their territory, which provided a steady source of income. Additionally, they developed extensive trade networks that connected Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa, ensuring the empire's financial prosperity for centuries. Fact 1. The Ottomans formed a special relationship with the French in the 16th century, granting them capitulations, special trading privileges in Ottoman ports. This arrangement benefited both sides as the Ottomans gained access to European goods and technology, while the French gained access to the lucrative markets of the East. Fact 2. Ottoman cities such as Istanbul, Alexandria, and Algiers became thriving centers of commerce, attracting merchants and traders from around the world. Istanbul, in particular, became one of the largest and wealthiest cities in Europe, boasting a population of over 400,000 by the 17th century. A key factor behind the Ottoman Empire's military success was its elite fighting force known as the Janissaries. These highly disciplined soldiers were initially recruited through the Devshirme system, which involved the conscription of Christian boys from the empire's European territories. These boys were converted to Islam and trained to serve the state as soldiers or administrators. The Janissaries became the backbone of the Ottoman military, playing a crucial role in many of the empire's major victories. Their loyalty to the Sultan and their rigorous training made them one of the most feared military units in the world. Fact 1. The Janissaries were not allowed to marry or own property, ensuring that their primary loyalty was to the Sultan. This unique social structure helped create a highly dedicated and effective fighting force. Fact 2. The Devshirme system was not only a source of military strength, but also a means of social mobility. Many boys recruited through this system rose to high positions within the Ottoman government, becoming influential officials and statesmen. The reign of Suleiman the Magnificent, from 1520 to 1566, is often considered the golden age of the Ottoman Empire. Under his leadership, the empire reached its greatest territorial extent, stretching from Hungary in the west to Persia in the east and from the Arabian Peninsula to North Africa. Suleiman was not only a brilliant military leader but also a skilled administrator and patron of the arts. His reign saw the construction of some of the most iconic architectural works of the Ottoman era, including the Süleymaniye Mosque in Istanbul. Fact 1. Suleiman's military campaigns in Europe, particularly his siege of Vienna in 1529, brought the Ottoman Empire to the doorstep of Central Europe. Although the siege was ultimately unsuccessful, it demonstrated the vast reach of Ottoman power. Fact 2. Suleiman was known for his commitment to justice and legal reform. He codified Ottoman laws, earning him the title Kanuni, or the lawgiver, among his subjects. His legal reforms helped create a more stable and unified empire, which contributed to its longevity. Segment 7. Cultural and intellectual influence, art, science, and architecture. The Ottoman Empire was not just a military and economic power, it was also a center of cultural and intellectual activity. The empire's capital, Istanbul, became a hub of artistic and scientific achievement, attracting scholars, poets, and artists from across the Islamic world and beyond. Ottoman architecture, in particular, left a lasting mark on the Mediterranean region. The empire's greatest architect, Mimar Sinan, designed some of the most iconic structures of the era, including the Süleymaniye Mosque in Istanbul and the Selimiye Mosque in Edirne. These works, with their grand domes and intricate tilework, symbolize the empire's wealth and artistic achievements, blending Islamic, Byzantine, and Persian influences. Beyond architecture, the Ottomans were also patrons of the sciences. Istanbul became a hub for astronomy, medicine, and mathematics, with scholars like Taqi al-Din, who established an observatory in the city and made significant advancements in celestial observation. Ottoman scientists often built upon earlier Islamic and Byzantine knowledge, preserving and enhancing the legacy of learning in the region. Fact 1. Mimar Sinan was a former Janissary who became the chief imperial architect and is credited with designing over 300 major structures across the empire. His influence is comparable to Michelangelo's in Europe. Fact 2. The Ottomans were one of the first civilizations to use printing presses in Arabic script, although they initially adopted them for non-religious texts. This innovation helped spread knowledge across the empire and contributed to its intellectual growth. Segment 8. Diplomacy and Alliances, Mastering Mediterranean Politics. The Ottoman Empire's success in the Mediterranean was not solely due to military might. Its diplomatic acumen also played a crucial role. The Ottomans formed strategic alliances and used treaties to weaken their European rivals. One of the most notable diplomatic moves was the alliance with France, which allowed the Ottomans to exert influence over European politics. By offering protection and trade privileges to European nations like France and Venice, the Ottomans created favorable conditions for their commercial interests while maintaining political leverage. This helped the empire manage its relationships with powerful European states and avoid costly conflicts, particularly during the reigns of Suleiman the Magnificent and later sultans. Fact 1. The Franco-Ottoman alliance, established in 1536 between Suleiman the Magnificent and Francis I of France, was one of the first non-ideological alliances between a Christian and a Muslim power. This alliance lasted well into the 18th century and was a cornerstone of Ottoman diplomacy. Fact 2. Despite their rivalry with Venice, the Ottomans often engaged in mutually beneficial trade agreements with the Venetian Republic. Venice, in turn, provided the Ottomans with much-needed maritime expertise and access to Western goods, while the Venetians profited from Eastern luxury goods such as spices and silk. One of the Ottoman Empire's strengths was its ability to govern a vast, diverse population. From Christians in the Balkans to Jews fleeing persecution in Europe, the Ottomans offered a relatively tolerant society for religious minorities. The millet system allowed various religious communities to govern themselves under their own laws, while still paying taxes to the empire. This policy of religious tolerance helped maintain internal peace and fostered loyalty among the empire's subjects. Fact 1. After the Spanish Inquisition in 1492, the Ottoman Empire offered refuge to thousands of Jews who were expelled from Spain. These Jewish communities, particularly in cities like Thessaloniki and Istanbul, played a significant role in Ottoman commerce and culture. Fact 2. The millets, or religious communities, had their own courts and legal systems. This system allowed the Ottomans to effectively govern a multi-ethnic empire, ensuring that Christians, Jews, and Muslims could coexist peacefully. By the late 17th century, the Ottoman Empire's dominance in the Mediterranean began to wane. Several factors contributed to this decline, including the rise of powerful European nations like Spain, France, and later Britain, whose naval technologies and colonial ambitions outpaced the Ottomans. The defeat at the Battle of Lepanto in 1571 was a turning point. Although the Ottomans quickly rebuilt their fleet, they never fully recovered their naval dominance. Additionally, internal struggles, including corruption and inefficiency in the government, weakened the empire's ability to maintain its vast territories. Fact 1. The Treaty of Karlowitz, signed in 1699 after a series of Ottoman defeats in Europe, marked the beginning of the empire's territorial losses. It was the first time the Ottomans ceded significant land to European powers, signaling a shift in the balance of power. Fact 2. The Industrial Revolution in Europe gave Western powers an economic and technological edge over the Ottomans. The empire's failure to modernize at the same pace contributed to its gradual decline in the 18th and 19th centuries. Though the Ottoman Empire began to decline, its legacy in the Mediterranean remained undeniable. The cultural and architectural landmarks they left behind, from the grand mosques of Istanbul to the fortresses of North Africa, continue to shape the region. Moreover, the Ottomans laid the groundwork for modern-day Turkey and left an enduring impact on Mediterranean trade, politics, and culture. The Ottoman Empire's system of governance, its tolerance for diversity, and its strategic military and diplomatic maneuvers helped it thrive for centuries. Even in decline, the Ottoman legacy influenced the shaping of nations and borders in the Mediterranean, particularly as European powers divided up its former territories in the 19th and early 20th centuries. Fact 1. The modern Republic of Turkey, founded in 1923, considers itself the successor state to the Ottoman Empire, and its capital, Istanbul, remains one of the most important cities in the Mediterranean. Fact 2. Many modern Mediterranean cities from Istanbul to Algiers bear the architectural and cultural imprint of the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman influence is still visible in everything from the region's cuisine to its legal systems. Thank you for watching Infinitia Verity. We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the history of how the Ottoman Empire dominated the Mediterranean for over 600 years. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on our future explorations of history's most fascinating civilizations. Tell us in the comments below which part of the Ottoman Empire's story you found most surprising. And if there's a historical topic you'd like us to cover next, let us know. We love hearing from our viewers. Until next time, keep exploring the endless stories of the past with Infinitia Verity.